No one expected this, especially not from the two people who have lived inside the story for years. When Heughan and Caitríona Balfe admitted that they weren't entirely sure about Outlander's final ending, it immediately sent a wave of confusion through the fan community. How could the actors who are Jamie and Claire not know exactly how their journey ends? And if they don't have clear answers, what does that mean for everyone else? For a series as long-running and emotionally layered as Outlander, the assumption has always been that the lead actors are deeply connected to the direction of the story. After all, Sam and Caitríona have carried these characters through years of development, shaping them with every scene, every decision, every subtle reaction. Fans have come to trust that they understand Jamie and Claire not just as roles, but as lived experiences. Which is why this uncertainty feels so unexpected. The moment came during a conversation that, at first, felt familiar. Questions about the final season, about how it all comes together, about what fans should prepare for, nothing unusual. But instead of offering the kind of confident insight people were expecting, both Sam and Caitríona spoke with a level of hesitation that stood out immediately. Not confusion in the obvious sense, but a careful acknowledgement that the ending isn't as clear-cut as people might think. Sam described it as something that is still unfolding, a phrase that immediately raised questions. Not because it suggests a lack of direction, but because it implies movement, change, something not entirely fixed. Caitríona echoed a similar sentiment, hinting that the emotional resolution of the story may not follow the path fans are expecting. And that combination, uncertainty paired with subtle warning, is what created the tension. What makes this even more intriguing is how rare it is for actors to speak this way about a final season. Typically, there's a sense of closure, even if details are kept secret. Actors often hint at satisfaction, at emotional payoff, at a conclusion that feels earned. But here, the language feels different. It's less about resolution and more about experience, as if even they are still processing what the ending means. Fans quickly began reacting, and the responses were mixed. Some saw this as a sign that the ending might be more complex than expected, something layered, possibly even ambiguous. Others felt a sense of concern, wondering if the uncertainty meant that the story itself hasn't fully settled into a clear direction. And when it comes to a series this beloved, even a hint of uncertainty can feel significant. There's also the emotional weight behind it. Jamie and Claire's journey has always been defined by endurance, by love that survives impossible circumstances. That consistency has created an expectation that no matter how difficult the path, there will be a sense of closure that aligns with everything that came before. But now, with Sam and Caitríona expressing uncertainty, that expectation begins to shift. One detail that stood out in particular was how both of them avoided giving even a general idea of the tone of the ending. They didn't describe it as happy, tragic, or bittersweet. Instead, they focused on how it feels, rather than what it is. And that choice suggests that the ending may not fit neatly into any one category. It may be something that needs to be experienced rather than explained. At the same time, there's a possibility that this uncertainty is part of something larger. In complex productions, especially those with evolving narratives, actors don't always have full visibility into every aspect of the final story. Scripts can change, scenes can be adjusted, and the full picture may only come together at the very end. If that's the case, then what they're expressing isn't confusion, it's honesty about being part of a process that is still in motion. Still, the timing of these statements adds another layer of intrigue. As the final season approaches, fans are looking for reassurance, for hints that the story will end in a way that feels satisfying. Instead, they're hearing something more uncertain, more open-ended. And that contrast is what keeps the conversation growing. Now, with anticipation building and questions multiplying, one thing has become clear. This isn't just about what the ending will be, it's about how it's being experienced, even by the people closest to it. And if Heughan and Caitríona Balfe themselves aren't entirely sure what that ending will feel like, then maybe the story isn't finished revealing itself just yet. As the uncertainty settled in, fans began asking a different kind of question, not just what is the ending, but why don't they seem sure about it? Because in an industry built on scripts, structure, and carefully planned conclusions, this kind of ambiguity feels unusual. And that's where the speculation begins to shift, from confusion to possibility. Some believe this isn't uncertainty at all, but strategy. In major productions, especially ones with devoted fanbases, secrecy is everything. Endings are protected, details are withheld, and even actors are sometimes given limited information to prevent leaks. In that context, Sam and Caitríona's hesitation could be intentional, not a lack of knowledge, but a way of preserving the experience for the audience. By staying vague, they keep the mystery alive. But others aren't convinced it's that simple. They point to the way both actors describe the ending, not guarded, not evasive, but genuinely reflective. There's a difference between avoiding spoilers and expressing uncertainty, and what they shared felt closer to the latter. It sounded less like they were holding something back, and more like they were still processing something themselves. That possibility introduces a much deeper layer to the story. What if the ending of Outlander isn't just unexpected for fans, but emotionally complex even for the actors? After spending years embodying these characters, building their lives piece by piece, an ending that challenges everything could feel difficult to define, even when you know it. Not because it's unclear, but because it doesn't fit into simple words. There's also the nature of storytelling itself to consider. Not every ending is meant to provide clean closure. Some are designed to leave space, to feel unresolved in a way that reflects the reality of the character's journey. If that's the direction Outlander is taking, then the uncertainty Sam and Caitríona expressed may not be about confusion, it may be about complexity. About an ending that doesn't offer easy answers. At the same time, the production process could play a role in this as well. Final seasons often involve adjustments, edits, and decisions that evolve until the very last moment. Scenes are reworked, emotional beats are refined, and sometimes the true impact of an ending isn't fully understood until everything is complete. In that sense, even the actors may only experience the full story once it's finished, just like the audience. Fans have also begun to consider another possibility, that Sam and Caitríona are experiencing the ending in a way that mirrors the viewers. Not as something they control, but as something they move through, moment by moment, without fully knowing how it will feel until it's over. That idea, while unusual, adds a sense of shared experience between actors and audience, something rarely seen in long-running series. What makes this situation so compelling is how it shifts the role of expectation. Instead of looking for confirmation, fans are now leaning into the unknown, preparing for an ending that might not follow familiar patterns. The uncertainty becomes part of the anticipation, a sign that something different is coming, something that might challenge the way the story has always been understood. And yet, the silence around specifics remains. No clear hints, no defined direction, no reassurance that everything will resolve in a way fans expect. Just a sense that whatever is coming will carry weight, emotional, narrative, and personal for those involved. Now, as the final chapters approach, one thing feels certain. This isn't just an ending being revealed, it's an ending being experienced, even by those who helped create it. And maybe that's the real reason Sam Heughan and Caitríona Balfe seem unsure. Not because they don't know what happens, but because what happens isn't something that can be easily explained. Because sometimes, the most powerful endings aren't the ones you can describe in advance, but the ones you only understand once they've already happened. Because sometimes, the most powerful endings aren't the ones you can describe in advance, but the ones you only understand once they've already happened. Because sometimes, the most powerful endings aren't the ones you can describe in advance, but the ones you only understand once they've already happened.